Yes, the first of two, notice of public hearing dedicating certain real property lying between Lake Street and Havens Avenue as a village street so that Havens Avenue is extended north and connected with Lake Street. Notice is hereby given that a public hearing be held by the trustees of the Village of Patchogue on Monday, January 26, 6 p.m., 14 Baker Street, Patchogue, New York, to consider the dedication of certain real property lying between Lake Street and Havens Avenue as a village street so that Havens Avenue is extended north and connected with Lake Street, which action is pursuant to section 6-610, 6-612, and 6-614 of the Village Code of the Law of the State of New York, and at the conclusion and close of this public hearing, a resolution will be considered authorizing the acceptance of the dedication of said property as a village street in downtown Patchogue Redevelopers LLC.
Read it, please.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the board trustees. Before the board are copies of the plan. You recall that when New Village was originally planned 5 years ago, 4 years ago, the interior parking lots were originally owned by the Village of Patchogue, and the plan was to have post-construction to have those parking lots then turned over back to us. This is one of the final actions that needs to be taken on New Village. The parking lots that were originally owned by us by square footage have actually been increased slightly. The lines have changed only a bit, but we've also gained the parking lot at the corner of Jennings Ave. So the plan is to have reopen the Havens Avenue, rededicate Havens Avenue that connects with Jennings Avenue, and have the parcels that were originally the parking lots owned by the village interior, again owned by the village, and return to our ownership.
Any questions by the board? Basically, what's happening is that area, the connection between the interior parking lots at New Village and Lake Street, is that one section will be open. One of the things that was done with that also is because the concern became, the concern is people going in and out of New Village, there are some traffic calming humps in that will slow people down. Because my concern was people speeding through it. And so we had some very long discussions about how to make that safe. So our primary concern with that is the safety of the people coming in and out and going in, that doesn't become a speedway in there. And I think the way it's constructed right now, it is safe enough, and it should be safe enough. And we'll do some signage also, and making sure that it is safe. Comments by the board?
What is these, the normal speed limits?
That's the other thing we can do is we can make it.
Sure. You designate a 15.
Yeah, we'll do that also.
I think that'd be good.
Okay. We can do that with this motion?
Sure.
Okay. Okay. Comments from the public? Yes, sir.
May I answer?
Yeah.
As you can see, it's important enough for me to come to walk through the snow. I live at the New Village. I strongly urge you not to open the street through traffic. Traffic is already horrible as it is, and opening up will create a dangerous situation for residents wanting to enjoy the courtyard with family, friends, pets. I have to rush home every day from work with the hope that I can find a spot for non-residents who are trying to escape parking fees, fill up the entire lot. This is the interior lot. This at times forces me to pay for parking just to go home at night, and then either feed the meter later or go out later at night just to move my car when I can find a spot. I'm surprised that this parking lot is not dedicated to the residents at New Village already. I mean, this is a residential, it is in downtown Patchogue, but I think there has to be a balance. Just like any of the other developments, they should have their own parking lot. This, along with the late night noise and outside bands playing, that can be addressed at another time. From all the neighboring bars will also need to be addressed. It's a huge factor in determining. It's also a huge factor in determining if I'll stay longer when my year's lease is up. The noise is terrible. I go to the bars, so I can't say that they're bad, but at a certain time at night, when it's 2-3:30 in the morning,
You're 100% correct.
it's ridiculous.
You're 100% correct. Has to be addressed. And we talked about it. We talked about it with the chamber and with the restaurant owners. And as we get closer to the summer, those conversations will heat up again. What is your name? The shiz?
No.
My name is Sean Kazmark, and actually, sir, I grew up a block away from you.
Yeah, I know you, I'm looking at you saying, I know you, yeah.
Are you David's son?
David Kazmark, yeah. So,
Because maybe later you can give, Lucille your phone number so we can touch base with you as we begin to go through this process a little bit farther in terms of that, the noise, and you can work with us with that.
sure. Again, opening this lot will only bring more congestion and potential dangerous situations to an already cramped space and force residents to become more uncomfortable as they have to battle non-village residents just to get home at night. So, that's basically all I have to say. It's a big priority for me. Just trying to get home is crazy, and the noise, and I think that's a big reason why a lot of New Village is vacant. It is, well, from where I live in my building, it's,
Which building are you in?
I live in the building next to the tap room.
Oh, okay.
So, it was, if I could just have a few more minutes to
Yeah.
speak. I live in the studio apartment, and New Village doesn't actually own those. Long Island Housing Authority does. And I can tell you the horror story upon returning from deployment, from an 8-month deployment, 3 months ago, I tried to get in here, and it was hell getting in through the Long Island Housing Authority.
That's a
So,
partnership, really?
yes, absolute hell.
I wish you could hold me.
Because the way it worked out is my pay stubs were different from when I was deployed, because I was in a tax-free combat zone, and they just made it hell, absolute hell. I fought and fought and fought because I wanted to live there really bad, but
Wish you could hold me at that point.
that's those are some of the things that I see potential new young residents battling with, because all of the studios that I know are pretty much vacant there, and
Let me give you my card. Drop me an email. You and I spend some time together and go over some of these things, because there are things I'm gonna have to address, not just today. You know, you can email me, or the 4590 number you can use. But either way, let's sit and talk about all of these things.
yes, sir, thank you.
No, I appreciate it. Now, are you out of the military now?
I'm a reservist now.
Okay.
No, I just have a question.
Yes, sir.
You mentioned parking. Now, don't you have a parking space underground?
So I do. I already pay $1,375 a month. That additional parking space is an extra $65 a month. That's a cable bill, rent bill, heating bill.
What about the lot on Jennings that's virtually not even used?
Okay, so I don't know which lot you're talking about.
Across from the firehouse?
During Friday, Saturday nights, it's impossible. If you don't leave work at 5 o'clock and get home at 5:30, you're not getting a spot.
Even now in the wintertime?
Even now in the wintertime, which is great. That means that Patchogue is becoming a hot spot, and there's no problem with the commerce. But if you're going to place housing in the middle of, you have to have a balance. And I don't think that opening. I know the reason behind it. Opening those streets is going to potentially make businesses want to go in there, but I don't know. I think it.
You know, it got, like I said, it got multi levels of planning, and there's a decision that has to be made. John, thank you very much. But really, get a hold of me. I'd love to sit down and go through, because I've talked to some people that love it, and they haven't had the issues you've had, but if this is where it's coming from, then I need to really address it.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, one more. Trustee Devlin just commented. Do you have a village sticker on your car?
No.
You should pick one up, because then you wouldn't have to pay in the meters in the parking lots.
What are the fees?
No fee.
As a resident.
As a resident, you'll be
You're
able to
exempt
park
from
in.
meters except on Main Street.
Yes,
Oh.
so you can park in the parking lot and you don't have to pay a meter.
If you have your registration, I can give you one right now.
Sounds fantastic. I'll meet you after the meeting. Thank you.
Gentlemen back?
Yes. Good evening. Good evening. Tom Snurry, 43 Jennings Avenue.
Good evening, Mr. Murray.
Well, I've come down here for the last 6 months concerned about traffic on Jennings Avenue. And 20 years, not going, no offense, I'm not going anywhere after a year. And opening up, that is gonna make traffic worse on Jennings Avenue. Havens used to be further, I guess, that way, if they connect directly with Jennings. now that you put the new village in, and it's gonna line up directly with Jennings, that block is not wide enough for the traffic that you're gonna be allowed to come down there. I have concerns about, the bars, the people parking in there and coming out of there at night and driving down my block. No matter how many DWI, police officers you put in there, you cannot control that. So, this is not the first time in here concerned about the traffic on Jennings Avenue. I think opening it up, while I might have certain planning phases, is a mistake. I don't know if any of you have been down there to take a look, and along those lines, but at one point, we were talking about making it a one-way street. And I don't know how you can open that up, it's not fair to the residents on Jennings Avenue. It's just not fair. It's not fair to the families. You know, I come here to speak, to talk to my neighbors, to try to encourage them to come. I'm not gonna repeat what they say to me, because they're extremely frustrated. You know, it is a great block, it is a great community. You know, unfortunately, we had a fire on that block the other day, and you should see the people rally around each other. And it's gonna be dismantled. I am telling you, it's gonna be dismantled if you open that up. The families that have been there for over 20 years are going to leave, because they're done, they are fed up with the traffic and the health and safety concerns on that block. So I guess the decision is yours whether to open it up or not. You know, like you can be look back afterwards and second guess everything. That's, you know, that's not my point for being here, and it's not to be critical of you either. That's not my point. My point is I have a real concern. A real concern for the safety of my family and for the people on that block. And, so I just, you know, like I said, I'm here. And,
Thank you, Mr. Mark.
all right, thank you.
very much.
I'm Bob McAvoy, I live in Cedar Grove Street, and I guess I'm swimming upstream amongst the comments. I look forward to the street being open. I wanna go back to the bank, just like I've done for the last 40 years, by coming down that way instead of going all the way around and going through all kinds of maneuvers. And I mean, I'm sympathetic to what these folks are saying, but my personal feeling is that there should be some policemen parked in that street. And if people are driving drunk, fast, whatever, there's a remedy for that. As a matter of fact, there's a policeman sits on the corner of Cedar Grove Street and South Ocean and North Ocean Avenue. And I've mentioned to him a couple of times that the stop sign by our street is totally ignored, pretty much, people roll through. And his response was, I don't want to quote him exactly, I don't know, but to the effect that he could get enough tickets parking over there. They said, well, that's not my concern. My concern is that people roll through the stop sign by my house, at which point he reiterated that he could get the tickets he needed over there. So, I mean, maybe he could park on Jennings Avenue a little bit. I don't think it's, maybe 2 or 3 of them could park for a while. At any rate, my feeling is I put up with that being blocked off for X number of 2 years, whatever it is. And I look forward to it being open again.
Okay, take a look at it, thank you.
I didn't want to say anything, but I don't, you know.
No. Well, you'll catch me at the mass on Sunday.
Whatever. Yeah.
Any other comment?
No, I said we can have
Same family, Janice Ave, 35 Cedar Street. We really have been waiting for, you know, the completion of the construction. There was a giant pole there. You know, we have our little ways, because we're open now, we go to the bank and do your things. And it's nice to be able to go to Main Street without going all the way down North Ocean and all the way around the front, or all the way in the back. We have to go all the way to the Y to get on Main Street the other way. I can understand, listening to this gentleman, that perhaps making it one way into underneath Pond Erie Way, one way, and then maybe go out, whatever, Oak Street or something, that's fine, but I mean, just to have the accessibility of Main Street would be good. And I understand anyone who's living in New Village, because I know what the noise is, because I hear it from my house, and I'm about 3 blocks up across from the cemetery, so I can hear the noise and I know what it's all about, so. At any rate, we're just, it's a thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Beth. Any other comments? Can we reserve decision on a piece of this and pass on the transfer?
Sure. I'll make a motion to reserve decision on the pass-through,
The opening of,
opening of Havens to Lake Street, and approve the transfer of the property from Tritec to the village? Is that-
Sure, so, just so we're clear.
we're leaving it closed for the moment.
Yeah,
The
Let's take
reserve
another look
decision on
at
the
it.
opening,
right.
approving the transfer of the interior parking lot to the roadbed back to the village, that's perfectly fine.
Because I think that's what Ms. McAvoy said, you know, to the issue, maybe just make it one way going into it.
I think that's.
Might be a solution to it also, so it would not be. people
Yeah, traffic's
moving-
only moving one way.
So let's take a look at it, really kind of take a look
I
at it.
do have one other question for you. How is it prior to New Village being there? Because it was always a through street. Was there traffic before they closed it off? When Jennings went and then turned into Havens?
You-
How is, sorry,
Yeah, how was the traffic prior to New Village? Because that was always a through, I mean, it wasn't a line, but it was a way for people to get to Main Street.
you're asking my opinion,
Yes.
it's worse now. I think the speed they travel at is faster now. And you didn't have all the bars down there, and things along those lines. The restaurants, or, you know, things along those lines. So it all depends on the time of day. And, but my personal opinion is it's worse now.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, that's-
I'd have to say, I think the Y adds to the traffic, because I go to the Y and I frequently, I mean, I get on Cedar Grove Street and I don't, it's probably a habit I learned in the military, I watch everything. And I watch the cars behind me, how many there are and where they go. And I'm going to the Y. And frequently, the 3 or 4 behind me are going to the Y. And, you know, there's a lot of reasons to be coming down, and maybe a one-way street just going north makes more sense. I
Yes, you're going south, going into it. really.
Going south, going into it.
don't know, I was gonna say, if you,
No, going south, because how were you gonna ever get into it?
Because once you let them in, they gotta figure out how to get out. But,
Yeah, but they can only get out one way, they can't make a left turn onto, well, they can't make a left turn onto Main Street. They can only make a right turn.
No.
Wait,
You know, you can make a left.
If you come
Oh,
south,
out of Haven, sorry,
Yeah,
okay, I'm
you go
sorry,
to the
I'm
bank.
sorry.
In the old
Right.
days, you
Right,
could make a
yeah.
left.
I mean, maybe the other way is you enter there, and you exit out with this traffic light.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's a slow traffic kind of deal, you know?
Okay. Look, now, do we do it in 2 motions?
no, you do it in one. So you do it as one motion, motion to accept the transfer of the properties and reserve decision on the opening of Havens Avenue.
Let's really take a quick.
I made the motion.
Okay.
I'll
Motion
second.
by- Second by trustee Young. All in favor?
Aye.
It's okay. So what's gonna happen is we need to do the formality of the transfer of the property, just because that's just a formality that we need to do. But we will reserve decision on the opening of it, and we'll have some more discussions about it, to figure out a way to